I rely on these weapons here, but even this cannot penetrate. So what I'm striking is just this cardboard box packed with cardboard. So what you're going to see here is I'm going to shoot this with something that can penetrate it. Just to check the damage. So I think this would cause some pain, I have no doubt. And again, depending on where you're firing this, it could be, it's definitely less lethal on typical torso shots, arm, legs, etc. But if directed towards the facial and throat areas, probably could be a little bit more dangerous. So what am I talking about? Hey YouTube, I'm talking about air pistols. These are all air pistols. Okay, this is an Umarex T4E TR50. Shoots CO2 from the bottom, and it has .5 caliber projectiles. These three here are pepper, and these here are hard rubber. Consistent with what the police use for non-lethal, let me take that back, less lethal defense. This is also an Umarex T4E HDR50 or HDP home defense pistol. Takes 6 rounds. You can, also CO2 12 gram in the handle. You can look this up for specs. I'll put product links for you if you're looking to get these. Now, why did I go with these? Well, cost effective. Okay, it's not. They got 6 shots basically. They're saying about 360 feet per second. I got this on eBay for about 80 bucks, under 100 bucks. This one I got on I got this from, well, I'll put the link, but not from eBay, but I got a jacked up version. Okay, so normally out of the box they're what they call about 7.5 joules, which basically energy measurement. Pounds per, foot pounds would be the American metric, but I think joules is the the meters and stuff. I'm blanking out for a second, but meters versus feet. So this is approximately 11 joules with the enhancement. I paid a little bit more for that. All right, so low cost, good reviews, reliable. Okay, this here is a paintball gun, paintball rifle. It's a Tippmann Stormer Elite. It allows mag fed. Holds about 20 rounds of paintballs is what the technical use is. But if you find the right ammunition, for example, these are .68 calibers. Got them off of eBay. They're made of nylon. Okay, they're designed for impact. Okay, I can get about 19 rounds in there. It said 20 on the box or in the advertisement, but maybe you have to break it in, but I can only get 19. I got a deal, it came with 2 magazines, okay? So I get 19 and 19 for a total of 38. I could use a hopper. Okay, there's a little, I can put hoppers basically if you're into paintball, it's a little cup that sits up here, it's attached, you can fill it in. I got a hopper that can hold 250 rounds, etc. Now this is all powered by CO2, for those of you that want to know. CO2 or high pressure air. You screw in the bottle here, it sticks out here, and then you basically have X amount of shots. So you can use CO2. There's 88 grams, there's 12 grams, 12.5 grams, no, 12 grams, 88 grams, or you can get an HPA, high pressure air bottle that you have to get filled up. So for home defense, if you look at, for example, if you do a Mission 4, burn a Mission 4, Google or search, you'll see that they operate off of the 88 grams. So I got this little adapter here, added on here, so that I can basically mimic that. So I got my 88 gram I can put in here. I can have 20 rounds or 19 rounds in here, and you know, I'm basically going to shoot this, you know, probably within, you know, 15, 20 feet max. You know, you can put lights on here. Anything that you can put on a Picatinny platform, you can do here. You can put on here. You probably saw that I had a, well, no, you probably didn't see, or maybe you did, but I can put a light on here as well, a laser. Same thing here. So let's talk about how we'd use this. So you saw the cardboard part up front. Okay, so I mean, for the guys out there that study martial arts or use some type of weaponry other than firearms, now don't get me wrong, firearms should be included where possible in your self-defense scenarios and preparations. Okay, if you live in a place where you're allowed. I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where it's allowed, but I do live in a state where it's one of the strictest states in the country, in the United States. And the way the political situation is right now, you probably heard that Smith & Wesson, for example, is leaving Massachusetts. Okay, so if you lived in the New England state, or particularly in Massachusetts, when you hear that Smith & Wesson, that's been there pretty much for the last, I don't know, 100 plus years, that they're taking off. I think they're going to move to Tennessee because of certain potential legal restrictions that are coming into play. I think they're not going to be allowed to create long guns. They may be limiting magazine pistols that have magazines, and maybe only limiting to revolvers. That being said, that's not good. Also, if you ever try to buy ammo anywhere, I guess, in the country, but particularly in the New England area, you can't find any ammo. You know, it's very hard, whether it's online or at your local gun shop. You can't, not only you can't find ammo, but you can't find firearms either. I was looking to buy a couple of new revolvers from Smith & Wesson, but you can't find them online. I mean, you can't find them in the store. So, that being said, since I already have a decent real firearm inventory or collection, I have you know, several pistols as well as a couple of long guns. You don't want to waste your ammo on going to the range, sorry, but when you don't have, when ammo is in short supply, you want to reserve that. And anyway, it's a different story, but it's a different topic, but I believe that a lot of the combative or self-defense applications could be practiced without going to the range. Actually shooting the gun and making sure you can hit the target, that separate training can be logically decoupled from tactical training, motor skill training, dry fire training. Don't want to go into that now. But the point of this video is to show you that here are some products that do have a role in a self-defense situation. Because if you believe that this will work, and you believe that this will work, and you believe that sticks might work, or maybe even knives. Well, knives are probably in a different category because they're considered lethal. But if you believe in the non-lethal application within arm's length, or maybe if you carry a stick, if you're into arnis or stick fighting, probably a little bit more, maybe kicking distance using a stick, and you understand how to use that, then why wouldn't you use this? This increases your range with at least the same capability, tactical capability, as having a stick or a long range weapon. The advantage of having something like this, you know, again, we've entered the realm. If you look at my, maybe I'll post a picture of it or a link to it, but I did a video that talked about the stages of every physical confrontation, you know, from the pre-contact phase to the contact and the post-contact phase. So in the contact phase, that's where you've actually, circumstances are such that in your training, you know that you're going to go physical. So when you go physical, there's a full threshold of a force that can be used, a force continuum. So you can be anywhere from you know, restraint oriented. It can be, you know, like for example in jiu-jitsu, you can have the full range of force. You can go light with some holds, restraints, etc., or you can go heavy and you can strike or you can choke. So the same thing goes for you know, beyond hand to hand. Okay, so you have the force continuum. So you're in a situation or a scenario where you have to go physical. Okay, or you know you must go physical to have that tactical edge. Do you go lethal physical or do you go restraint oriented? So all this basically does is it increases your reach. So if I have 40 shots here and I can physically injure or physically deter or physically stop an attack from 15 or 20 feet using this or using this. With this, since I have high capacity, it can be multiple assailants that I can also do that. Now, granted, am I going to have my real firearm on me in a home defense situation? Of course I will. But I may not want to shoot somebody with my firearm. The circumstances may not warrant that, especially if they're say they're unarmed, or say that they're inexperienced criminals. Whatever the case, there is a situation where you will need to go physical, but you won't necessarily have to be lethal. Okay. Now, where and when those circumstances apply, you're going to have to research that, train that, and understand that. But know that there is a circumstance, and when there is, these weapons, just like maybe a stick or just like maybe a whip, you probably saw my steel whip or flexible weapon video, these will apply. In some cases, this might even deter. Okay, so worst case scenario, you pull this out and they pull out a real gun. Well, if you pulled this out prematurely and you didn't know if your opponent had a real gun, or you pulled this out and you weren't in, say, a good position of cover, like say at the top of the stairs of your house and they're at the bottom stairs, you have this, but you also have your real pistol in your waistband, or you know, etc. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios. A lot of armchair warriors are may not like, and they may try to argue with me. Fine, I'm probably just going to ignore you. But there's a place for less lethal force. Now, for example, I could use this, and it's less lethal when it comes to your typical conventional shooting, which is, you know, center mass, right? This is not going to do anything. It might cause some pain. No, just an FYI, you could put paintballs in here as well. There's .50 caliber paintballs, and there's also .68 caliber, and these take .5. So you can put the pepper balls in there that when on contact they explode or they break up and powder shoots out, and there's a pepper format. As a matter of fact, you can Google that. The police do use some type of a carbine or a rifle that shoots these rounds that have pepper. You know, there's the Burna Mission 4, there's some other ones, I forget, but they officially use that. So you can spend a couple $1,000s and get those, or you can get a paintball gun and leverage that. I prefer to go with a paintball gun and leverage the lower cost. You know, you're looking at about 280 to 300 feet, possibly 350 feet per second, and I just think there's a marketing concern that's going on. Tippmann's been around for a while. Their functionality is proven, but again, that's a different story. So there's a role for these. I wanted to show you that if you can trust the hands, your hands in hand-to-hand combat within hand or kicking distance, or you can trust a stick for a little bit farther distance, then you can certainly employ these with the same use of tactical application, because this increases your distance more. Okay, and also, I mean, probably not this, but with a gun, you can always use a gun as a weapon, okay? If you can use a UR stick, if you can use a pen, then guess what? You can use a gun, right? A plastic gun. So that's really all I wanted to do, was to show you that these do have a role. And that fits the role in the situation where you have, you know you're going to go physical, and you also know you don't have to be lethal. For example, look at cops. When they deploy these, they know they don't want to be lethal. There might be a whole line of them, 10 of them, and there might be a whole a crowd, and a mob, where they're able to shoot paintball, pepper ball, at the ground, at the feet, in front of them, or at them, to kind of deter them. So, could you ever be in a situation where you're driving your car and you could be that? Yes. Of course, I'd probably want to have, a bunch of these mags, or I'd probably prefer to have the hopper here that have 250 rounds, and a tank that will, if I have a high pressure air tank, I can probably shoot 500 rounds. So let's say I'm driving, say there's, we're at Tippmann, and I'm trying to, I don't know, pick up my wife or somebody somewhere. I know I have to get them by car. Okay, obviously I would take my firearms, my blades, and whatever I need to, but I might have this in my car as well, in case I run into, a disagreeable crowd. Then I'm going to know I'm not going to want to go lethal, or I don't know, but when that'll happen. But if the circumstances dictate, I can choose what I need to do. Alright, so that's pretty much it. It's that simple. If this can penetrate cardboard, where my finger or maybe a stick can, then I can do the same thing at a distance. Okay, and then if I need to close the gap after injuring somebody, etc., an assailant that I've rightfully and justifiably injured because of threat to my life, all accordance to the law, then this could be the initial preliminary attack or defensive response, and then follow up afterwards. Okay, same thing with here. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Besides the fact, I mean, come on, man, look at this thing. This thing's badass, and it's fun to shoot. You can plink for those of you that want to plink. These are all reusable. So if you build the right trap, which is basically like a box with a bunch of rags in there, and you can have a nice little plinking session indoors, which I did in my basement. So anyway, a lot of cool things here with the political climate. Having some type of an air arsenal is probably something to look into. These are reusable. They're cheap to buy. You can buy the power source from a Walmart, a CO2, and you can buy a lot of this stuff right now online. Can't buy guns online, I mean real firearms, but you can buy these safe, you can follow the same protocols, less lethal by definition, by legal definition, tools of the trade. Use them as you see fit, and as long as it works, use it. So that's it. That's all. Catch you later.